Hello everyone and welcome to the Blue and Gold recap. So instead of saying if a game is good or if it's bad, instead we're going to say if the game is good, it's going to be gold, but if it's going to be bad, it's going to be blue, as in the tiers. So sit back and relax as we do a quick recap of all the Sun Belt matchups that happened this weekend. So up first we have Arkansas State taking on Utah State on the road. The Red Wolves gave up a total of 18 penalties for 129 yards, which is just beyond ridiculous. This is a well-functioned team in the last couple of years, and now all of a sudden they're starting to kind of sputter, which is very unfortunate. The Red Wolves end up losing 34-20 to the Aggies, so obviously for me this is going to be a blue game. This next one is also a shocker to me. Miami traveling up to Boone to take on Appalachian State. In my Pick'ems video, I thought that Appalachian State was going to do a lot better of a job than they did. I said they were going to be within 3, even though I picked them to lose. Instead, the Mountaineers ended up getting blown out at home, 45-10. Also ended up losing Marcus Cox for a majority of that game. So for me, this game is going to be a blue. It just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like a normal App State. This is a team that's normally world beaters. Up next, I think we have one of the first shining spots within the Sun Belt this week. Georgia State taking on Wisconsin. Now, I don't think anybody thought that the Panthers were going to do as well as they did, but here they were, and they ended up taking Wisconsin down to the wire. The final score ended up being Wisconsin 23, Georgia State 17. So it was a really good showing for the Sun Belt against the Big Ten. So this game is going to get the gold for me. Up next, we had Idaho taking on Washington State. As I predicted, Washington State went in there, handled business, and crushed the Vandals. I mean, it is a game that I don't think a lot of people are interested in, so it's going to be another blue for me. Up next is a game that really comes out as a shocker, and it's really, honestly, because of the final score, Kentucky taking on New Mexico State. Now, while the Aggies didn't win this game, they still scored a lot of points. The final score of this matchup ended up being 62-42 in favor of the Wildcats. What I think is funny is I mentioned that this would be a great shooty hoops game in my Pick'ems video, and we end up with somewhat of a shooty hoops score. New Mexico State, not having the best of defenses, showed that they can keep up with the Joneses in terms of the offensive prowess. So for what the Aggies were able to accomplish in this game, this one's getting the gold. Up next, we have Georgia Southern taking on UL Monroe. Poor clock management towards the end for Louisiana Monroe. And for Georgia Southern, it just didn't feel right in terms of their offensive prowess. Just the offensive line just wasn't clicking for them for most of the game. Though this game may have been a little sloppy, I do think it has some redeeming factors. I think the closeness of the score and the blocked field goal at the end really helped solidify and keep people in their seats throughout the match. That's why this one is getting the gold. Up next, we had South Alabama taking on Louisiana Lafayette. And this is a game that South Alabama, you blew it. You blew my pick'ems. This game just really blew my mind. I thought for sure that South Alabama was going to come back from that Georgia Southern defeat and take care of business against the Raging Cajuns. But for some reason, the Raging Cajuns showed a pulse. And Raging Cajun fans, if you're watching this right now and you're mad at me, don't be mad at me. You should be mad at Mississippi State. Mississippi State ruined the mathematical equation, which would have been Louisiana Lafayette is greater than South Alabama, which is greater than Mississippi State, which is greater than LSU. You would have had state bragging rights at least until, the Tulane game, but that one's going to be up in the air. So ultimately, this game is going to get the blue from me. This next matchup is one that I think really helped out the Sun Belt this weekend, which was Troy versus Southern Mississippi. Troy was already looking strong coming off a close loss against Clemson, and then came in and beat Southern Mississippi on the road. Southern Mississippi just went up to Kentucky and beat them in Lexington. I think a lot of people were expecting this to be a really great matchup, and we got what we wanted. Troy getting the victory on the road definitely helps this one get the gold. Last but not least, we have Texas State taking on Arkansas. The Bobcats only got 3 points to the Razorbacks. There wasn't really much of a matchup either way, so this one is ultimately going to get the blue from me. Be sure to share and like this video, and also be sure to subscribe to my channel. Also be sure to follow me on Twitter at Jimmy Braswell. We can talk about a lot of stuff. You can ask me how my day's going. We can talk about Sunbelt football. We can talk about Atlanta sports. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you again soon.